The crowd had barely settled into their seats when Chief Petty Officer Dale Whitfield felt something shift in the air. A strange tightness that had nothing to do with the summer heat pressing down on the training field. He didn't know it yet, but the next 20 seconds were about to change the tone of the entire afternoon. The base had opened its gates for a community day, a chance for military families to watch a controlled demonstration, take photos and ask questions. Nothing dangerous, nothing unscripted. At least, that was the plan. Dale had done these events more times than he could count. He liked the noise of it, the excited kids, the proud parents, the easy laughter that came from people who had no real idea what military life demanded behind the scenes. It made him feel like he was sharing something good, something worth showing off. That was when he noticed her. She stood near the back of the crowd, arms folded, eyes fixed on the demonstration with an expression that didn't match anyone else's. Not excitement, not boredom either. Something closer to quiet judgment, like she was watching a performance she had already seen 100 times before and wasn't impressed by the reruns. She looked maybe 17, dressed simply, her posture too still for someone her age standing in a loud crowd. Wunderlanen. Dale walked toward her, riding the small wave of confidence that came naturally to him in front of an audience. "You don't look very impressed," he said, loud enough for people nearby to hear. "I'm not," she said simply. "I'm waiting for you to do something interesting." A ripple of laughter moved through the crowd. Dale grinned, sensing an opportunity to give the audience a good show. "Oh yeah? You think you could do better?" "I think I could hold a rifle without looking like it might jump out of my hands." The laughter grew louder this time. Dale, enjoying the moment, unclipped the training weapon from his shoulder. It had already been checked and cleared twice before the event even started. No danger, no risk, just a prop for a joke. He held it out to her with a playful flourish, expecting her to fumble it, maybe laugh nervously, maybe hand it right back with pink cheeks and an embarrassed smile. That was supposed to be the whole point of the bit. Instead, the moment her hands touched the weapon, everything about her changed. Her stance shifted instantly, feet apart, weight low, shoulders square in a way that had nothing to do with instinct and everything to do with training. She checked the chamber without being told to. Her thumb found the safety with a motion so practiced it barely looked like a choice at all. She raised the weapon toward the open range beyond the crowd, breathed once, steady and slow, then lowered it again. 20 seconds. That was all it took. The laughter around them had already died by the time she handed the rifle back. Dale's easy smile was gone too, replaced by something more careful, more curious. "Where did you learn that?" he asked, though it barely sounded like a question anymore. "My father taught me," she said, "before he didn't come home." The silence that followed had real weight to it. Dale studied her face, and something in his memory clicked into place. A stillness he had seen before. In mirrors, in barracks hallways, in the eyes of people who grew up circling a loss they never quite got to finish grieving. "What was his name?" Dale asked quietly. "Master Sergeant Aaron Cole," she said. "3rd Special Forces Group. He didn't make it back from his last deployment." Dale exhaled slowly. He hadn't known Cole personally, but he recognized the unit, the timeline, the quiet respect that came with both. The ground under the conversation had shifted, and everyone nearby seemed to sense it too. "I'm sorry," Dale said, and this time it carried none of the showman's charm from earlier. "People always say that," she replied, "but that's not why I came today. I wanted to see if what he taught me actually meant something outside of him, or if I just imagined I understood it." "It's real," Dale said. "You handled that weapon like someone who had good instruction and actually paid attention." For the first time since she'd arrived, something in her shoulders relaxed. "I'm Grace," she said. "Dale." "I know," she said, glancing at his name tag with the faintest hint of a smile. "You ever think people forget you're wearing that?" Dale laughed, the tension breaking just slightly. "You'd be surprised how often." They stepped a little to the side, away from the main crowd, which had already turned its attention back to the scheduled parts of the demonstration. Kids were lining up to try on helmets. Someone was explaining radio equipment to a group of curious parents. Life moved on around them, but their conversation stayed still. "You said your dad taught you," Dale said. "How long ago?" "He started when I was 9, Grace said. "Not with real weapons, obviously, just posture, breathing, focus. He said those things mattered more than anything else. He always told me that panic was the real enemy, not the equipment." "Smart man." "He was," Grace said, her voice steady despite the subject. "After he died, I kept practicing what he taught me, even without the weapons. Breathing drills, focus exercises. It became a way to feel close to him, I guess." Dale nodded slowly, letting her words settle instead of rushing to fill the space with sympathy. "Your mom know you're here today?" he asked. "She dropped me off," Grace said. "She doesn't love these things, too many memories, but she also knows better than to stop me." "That sounds like a hard balance." "It is," Grace admitted. "She lost her husband to this life. I think part of her is scared she'll lose her daughter to it too." The honesty in her voice surprised Dale. Most people her age guarded their feelings more carefully, especially around strangers, but there was something clear and direct about Grace, like she had already spent years figuring out exactly what she believed and wasn't interested in pretending otherwise. "Have you thought about enlisting?" Dale asked. "Every single day," Grace said without hesitation. "It's the only thing that's ever made sense to me. What stops you?" "Nothing stops me," she said. "I'm just waiting until I'm old enough to do it the right way. No shortcuts." Dale studied her for a long moment, impressed by the certainty in her voice. He had met plenty of recruits over the years who talked a big game before basic training humbled them completely. Something about Grace felt different, steadier, like she had already done the hardest part of the work quietly, on her own, long before anyone else was watching. "If you ever do enlist," Dale said, "come find me. I'll make sure whoever trains you does it right." Grace's expression shifted, the closest thing to a real smile she had shown all day. "I'll hold you to that." They talked a little longer, about her father's stories, about the training exercises that used to fascinate her as a kid, about the quiet way grief and purpose can sometimes grow from the same root. Dale found himself listening more than talking, something that rarely happened during these community events. Usually, he was the one doing the teaching. Today, in a strange way, felt like the reverse. Eventually, Grace's mother appeared at the edge of the crowd, her eyes scanning until they landed on her daughter. Grace lifted a hand in a small wave, and her mother offered a tired but genuine smile in return. "That's my ride," Grace said. "Take care of yourself," Dale said, "and say hi to your mom for me." "I will." She started to walk away, then paused and turned back. "Hey, Dale," she said. "Thanks for not laughing at me. Once you realized I actually knew what I was doing, I mean." Dale shook his head. "I wasn't laughing at you in the first place. I just didn't expect to be the one who ended up learning something today." Grace smiled again, brighter this time, then jogged off toward her mother, disappearing into the moving crowd. Dale stood there for a moment, the training weapon back on his shoulder, the noise of the event slowly rising around him again. Kids laughed near the equipment display. Someone was asking questions about training schedules. Life continued exactly as it had before. But something about the afternoon had shifted for him, quietly and permanently. He thought about Aaron Cole, a man he had never met, whose lessons had somehow outlived him in the steady hands of his daughter. He thought about how easily an entire moment could change, not through danger or drama, but through simple, undeniable skill revealed in 20 short seconds. The demonstration continued for another hour, the crowd cheering, laughing, moving from one display to the next. But Dale kept glancing toward the spot where Grace had been standing, replaying the moment again in his mind. What began as a lighthearted joke between a Navy SEAL and a stranger in the crowd had turned into something neither of them would forget anytime soon. A small reminder that the people who look the most ordinary often carry the deepest stories, quietly waiting for someone to actually pay attention. By the end of the day, as the crowd thinned and the equipment was packed away, Dale found himself thinking less about the demonstration itself and more about the conversation that had unfolded beside it. 20 seconds had been enough to shift an entire afternoon, proving once again that real strength rarely announces itself loudly. Sometimes it simply waits, calm and steady, for the right moment to be seen.